Congratulations on the grant of your Z visa. Unfortunately for Filipinos, we still cannot travel out of the country to work without going through the Philippine Overseas Employment Agency or POEA. By the way, I'm going to make a disclaimer before I proceed. The information that I'll be sharing here are based on my experience only while I was processing my papers as direct hire, meaning there was no agent or agency involved while working on my papers.
Wala kasi akong pambayad sa kanila.
Anyway, there are two phases that we need to go through. For phase 1, these are the documents that we need to submit to the POEA. First is the valid passport. Make sure that your passport is valid for at least a year before your departure date. It is safer to renew if it is already less than a year. Next is the valid work visa or work permit. Next is the original copy of the employment contract or offer of employment verified by the Philippine Overseas Labor Office in China. But since there is no polo office in China, then the Philippine Embassy will do the authentication or apostille with the Philippine Embassy acknowledgement. The question is, who is going to do this for you? Either your school or employer, or you will need a middleman to do this for you. For me, I was so grateful that my employer helped me on this.
My employer nominated an agent in China to go to the Philippine Embassy in Beijing and process the authentication, which was couriered to me after getting authenticated. Make sure that your employment contract meets the minimum employment standards set by the POEA. Salary, holiday and personal leaves, working hours, accommodation, insurance, and the like must be stipulated in the contract. If these information are not written on the contract, then your papers will not be processed. It is better to use the sample employment contract from the POEA website to speed up the process. That's actually what I did. I just downloaded and filled the sample employment contract form from the POEA website, then emailed it to my employer for them to bring to the Philippine Embassy in China for authentication. Another requirement for phase 1 is the company profile, business permit or license or commercial registration of your employer. I submitted the same copies of these documents at the Chinese Embassy when I applied for my work permit. Additional documents to support your application, such as the Certificate of Employment or Business Permit if you are self-employed, resume, PRC license, ID or NC2 certificate, birth certificate, apostillized or authenticated transcript of records, diploma, teaching license, and your police clearance or the NBI clearance. Next is the notarized statement on how you found the job. You can actually go to your local notary office and let them do this for you. That is what I did. Of course, you'll have to inform them on how you found your job. What I did was, I drafted my affidavit with all the necessary information like how I secured my job, which was through the school's website when I sent an inquiry on the contact form. For phase 2, you need an e-registration account at the POEA website. You need to create an account if you do not have one yet. But if you were an IFW before and was under an agency, then you need to contact your previous agency and ask, because you will not be able to make a new one. Unless, of course, you make a stupid decision and use another name. Avoid doing that. The second one for phase 2 is the Pre-Employment Orientation Seminar or PEOS. This is one of the reasons why you need to have an e-registration, because you will get your PEOS online. You will immediately receive your certificate after answering some questions on the website. Third is the valid medical certificate from DOH accredited medical clinic authorized by the POEA to conduct medical exam for OFWs.
Not all clinics under DOH can actually do the medical or physical examination for OFWs.
So you need to check on the clinics authorized by the POEA. Certificate of Insurance. I took mine at Paramount Life and General Insurance. You do not need to go to their office. You can actually do this online. And last but not the least is the Pre-Departure Orientation Seminar or PDOS issued by OWA. You will need to attend the orientation to complete the process. Here, they will be talking about the things that you need to do and not to do before you leave the country or when you arrive and work in your country's destination. It's more on reminders for your own safety. Once you finish all this, then the POEA will issue your Overseas Employment Certificate.
Once you receive your OEC, then you can now book your flight or ask your employer to do it for you. My employer booked my ticket since it's one of the benefit packages that is written in my contract.
Good luck on your journey, and I hope you'll be able to get your OEC hassle-free.